just days before the NFL draft. And I think for all Niner fans, we got to be feeling good that this happened before any time, before training camp, and even before this draft. Welcome back, everybody, to the Late Night Niners Show, powered by the First and 49ers podcast. I'm your host, Cole McMahon, joined by 49er Media. This is the first of this Late Night Niners Show, just something I wanted to try to do for any show that we do late at night. Obviously, it's only 8 o'clock Pacific time, but for those East Coasters out there, it's close to 11 o'clock over there. But the biggest news, waking up at 6 a.m. in the morning, Trent Williams and the 49ers have agreed to a contract deal. 49er Media is here with me today. How you doing, man?
Doing well, man. It's been a bit since I've done some of these shows, but I'm glad, the draft is this week. And then obviously, the biggest news, Trent Williams, finally they get it done. I'm glad they get it done. I'm not super concerned about the money at all. I mean, all I saw, is according to David Lombardi, that the 49ers open up around $20 million. So shout out to Parag Marate doing his magic. He's always been doing his magic, but like this offseason, man, he's been absolutely just cooking with these contracts. Mike Evans, for example, another guy that, even though it's a 3-year deal, it's like really a 1-year deal. And it's just fantastic to see that Trent Williams is here. It's like, Niners are doing their top 30 visits. A lot of offensive linemen, which we're actually going to get to later. But I really thought this was always just going to end up happening. Niners have a good track record, really, where if someone's kind of wanting that, an extension or their contract to work, it does end up getting done for the most part.
Right.
So I'm glad that the Niners get it done this early. I feel like they've kind of learned their lesson after that whole Brandon Ayuk situation. So if you go back to last year, right? Fred Warner, George Kittle, Brock Purdy, all done early. Diamador Lenore, Dre Greenlaw a few years ago. Like, starting to, I think, learn their lesson.
Starting to pick up on
I really like
doing it
this.
the right way.
Yeah.
I think was it the first time the Niners signed Trent Williams to a contract? It also happened like pretty early in the morning. I woke up at like 6:20. I think it happened like 6 o'clock on the dot or something like that when I saw the alert. And I was already like I had one eye open posting the breaking news and went back to sleep right after it. But it was a 2-year, $50 million deal with $37 million guaranteed. Like you said, media, that opens up $20 million of cap space for this season coming up. So Parag out there doing good again with that contract. And just like you, like I expected it to get done. It was just a matter of when it was going to get done. And I think this was the best case scenario, the fact that it happened before the draft, because I think if things didn't happen prior to the draft, I think there'd be a lot of speculation of like, oh shoot, like is there going to be a draft day trade with Trent Williams? And could that happen, on Thursday? So it's great that it finally got done. It's a 2-year deal, so he's going to have guaranteed money this year and next year. And it does feel good, to get it done. And John Lynch said a couple weeks ago that they were on the precipice of a deal getting done, and he was right about it. There was no just PR quotes just going out there. He actually meant
because like last week, I think it was, or maybe 2 weeks ago, we even got the report that Niners have sent out a kind of making of the contract, and it was like, okay, well, Trent Williams, except in there you go, you got it. You don't have to deal with it during draft week now. You didn't have to deal with it during the press conference. We didn't have to actually go into a Niners press conference with John Lynch and it being like, all right, Trent Williams, how's that going? It's like, we were able to go away. The only thing was the whole Brandon Ayuk thing, but that was a given. But again, it was like, it was nice because the press conference was at least a lot more connected to kind of the draft. So
not into any of that.
I'm just happy this is done.
Yeah, it's just done now. No drama at all. Even with the Brandon Ayuk stuff, there really isn't anything even to say about the Brandon Ayuk stuff. So it's nice that it was like a one question, one off kind of thing. But Lynch did give us some good
Mhm,
insight on what they plan on doing as of right now with Brandon Ayuk. And I think that's a good segue to get into the John Lynch pre-draft press conference.
mhm,
I think I don't know. I'll give you a couple of things that stood out to me, some of his quotes, and then maybe you can we'll bounce off
mhm.
each other from there. So one
Sounds
of the
good.
big things, yeah, one of the biggest things that John Lynch said that caught my eye was saying that they were certainly looking to be open to trading back for more picks in the draft. Right now, the Niners only have 6 picks in the draft. I know Lynch did mention too about the first round talent that it's not really there's not really as much first round talent as there was in previous drafts. And a lot of teams are looking this year to move back, to move forward. So there might be a lot of draft day trades. And for the 49ers, I think this could be a good thing, especially they have 3 4th rounders. So if you move off of one of those or two of those and get, another
Mhm.
5th rounder or 6th round draft pick out there somewhere, I think it's good to know that the 49ers are looking to add more players throughout the draft and looking to add more draft picks.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to need it where, like, okay, last year they had 11 picks, and then this year they actually spent some money. But if you think about it, again, Mike Evans really a 1 year deal.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk's a 1 year deal. Dre Greenlaw's a 1 year deal, and then like Brett Toth and Viridian Low are all one. Basically, a lot of these are like 1 year deals to
Yeah.
where they definitely could add still some more youth at certain positions because I feel like the depth overall, I thought it was better than it was going to be, but it obviously can
Mhm.
be better just also with all the injuries that the Niners deal with. So I think it makes sense. I've been wanting them to trade down. There's a particular team that I'd be looking into, and it's in the NFC West, and that's the Arizona Cardinals. I know multiple people have been saying this. It's not just like me. But it just makes too much sense because they're going to need a quarterback. There's no way I don't think, right, that they're going to take Ty Simpson at number two.
There's got to be no way.
Overall, they're probably going to take an edge rusher or one of the linebackers, honestly, at that, top five pick. So
Mhm.
I really think that that's a perfect team because I don't really know how many teams are actually going to really move up, even though I know John Lynch said that he believes that there is going to be, quite a bit of movement, which those teams are probably looking for 2027 pick as much as possible. Because from what I've been hearing, that one's supposed to be a really good draft. And so, like,
Yeah.
John Lynch kind of said this where he thought wide receiver, edge, and I don't remember the other position.
Is it
Um,
safety or left guard maybe?
it might have been safety or no, I think it was guard. Yeah,
It was guard.
offensive liner. Yeah,
Yeah.
so like I think that really, if there's not someone a team likes at their spot that they're drafting, like they could be looking to trade down. Um, but yeah, I really hope the Niners end up, trading down in this draft. Again, I think they need it.
Yeah.
Something else that also stood out was he didn't think that this Trent Williams news really affects their draft plans, which I actually love to hear. Because if
Mhm.
I would have been like, "Oh, it did," I would have been like, "Oh
They
my
were
god, they're
going left
fine."
tackle,
Then they're
right?
yeah,
On a
they
overall.
clearly do not have a plan
Mhm.
at left tackle, and they're gonna do the whole Stoily route, which maybe they do. Obviously, you have to take what John Lynch and anyways the GM says with a little bit of a grain of salt. But again, once you get to the top 30s, um, later on that will help. But yeah, I just thought
30.
that was kind of good to hear. And then the whole thing about Brandon Ayuk, not really seeing a trade happening during this week. Um, but there
But anything's
has been
possible,
teams that he's
and
had
there's been talk.
discussions with. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought that was really interesting too, and like what you said that, uh after signing Trent Williams, their game plan for the draft hasn't changed. I thought that might have been honestly the biggest thing he said, because there's been a lot
Mhm.
of mock drafts, and it's funny seeing Twitter afterwards after Trent Williams got signed, like, oh, now all these people got to start switching up their mock drafts because everyone
Mm.
was mocking Caleb Lomu to the 49ers. And I know
Yeah.
there was a lot of mixed emotions about that one. So I think it's safe to say the Niners won't draft an offensive tackle with the 27th overall pick. And I think it just doesn't make sense because you're going to have Williams here for 2 more years. I know he's got the guaranteed money at least for the
Mm,
2 years. And if you do end up drafting a left tackle, he's just going to be either playing that left guard spot or he would just be backing up Trent Williams for 2 years, and you really don't know what you got in him. And it'd be
mm,
more, it'd make more sense if the Niners were to draft. There's just figure out that situation in the 2027 draft. Now they have Trent Williams for 2 more years. You don't have to worry about that
mhm.
anymore. His replacement, at least for this season. And I think that
Yeah.
kind of brings me real quick too to what the 49ers could choose if they do stick to the 27th overall pick.
Mhm.
And for me, for a lot of time now, the past couple weeks, past couple months, it's been between defensive end or wide receiver. And I think, especially
Yeah.
now that the 49ers have signed Mike Evans and Christian Kirk, I've really been leaning towards the 49ers
Mhm.
drafting a defensive end because I feel like that's just the most pressing roster spot that
Mm.
the Niners need to really adhere to in this draft and just in throughout this offseason after especially after Bryce Huff got or after Bryce Huff retired. I feel like it's not as
Yeah.
big of an issue for the 49ers in the wide receiver room because they have the depth at least for this season. And I don't think they necessarily have to use a first rounder for a wide receiver. What are your thoughts?
I actually think it's okay. There's two sided me things that I can think about because knowing the Niners and what John Lynch has said is they need to get more pressure after the quarterback. They were dead last with the quarterback pressure, right? And they bring in also Digizua, who John Lynch didn't even say want to
He
say his
couldn't even see his
last
last
name,
name.
by the way,
He's I'm not
which
even
is
trying
funny. Yeah. But I think that's gonna obviously help in the interior. But just knowing the Niners philosophy, it really feels like edge is gonna be it again. And I know it's not the prettiest thing because you're like, well, we drafted Micah Williams. Um, but I think the Niners need more of a pass rushing guy, and that's why I don't really like Folk, I think his name from Auburn, because to me
Yeah.
he's kind of a similar guy to a Michael Williams. So I think you need to go get like an actual pass rushing guy who also can stop the run, but then you're able to, kind of bring in Michael Williams in the like third and short, or first, second down situations.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, that's kind of the side of me. But then there's the side of me, which is even more recently as well. What did the Niners do a few years ago? Whatever you want to say about, oh, it hasn't worked out because of the injuries, is Ricky Pierce on Jacob Cowing, right?
Mhm.
They knew that Debo Samuel probably wasn't going to be here for too long. And so they go out and get another receiver. And I could see the Niners doing it again, just like I keep on saying that Mike Evans is technically on a 1 year deal if you want to think about it.
Yeah.
And you kind of want to have that plan again because you don't know about Ricky Pierce on Jacob Cowing's, availability,
Mhm.
honestly. So to me, I think if I'm going just based off what's happened recently, probably wide receiver. Unless there's a guy that totally like drops and a guy like I can't Raheem Morris really likes him or something.
Mhm.
Um, and then maybe they go edge, but I mean we'll see. I think if the board goes kind of their way
Mhm.
to where it's like, oh, there's some edge rushers and like wide receivers kind of taken, and then they trade down. That tells me all I gotta say is they're probably looking for
Yeah.
an edge. Um, but yeah, I feel like this year it's also kind of hard to know, and I don't know if we're getting right into the top 30 visits here, but to me, it is super tough to actually tell what the Niners could be doing just overall throughout this draft. And that's because they only have 6 picks. So
Mhm.
they're not trying to,
Yeah, they
show
would
their
it's like, what are
cards
they
even
trying to
more.
prioritize with these 6 picks, you know? You got
Yeah.
such limited ones, and that's why I think they will end up trading back at least in this draft at least once to get 1 or 2 more picks. But going back to Mykal Williams too, I thought that was honestly a little bit of a giveaway too, because one of the reporters asked him like, "Hey, it doesn't seem like Mykal Williams will probably be ready for week 1. So like, are you guys like prioritizing edge?" And like you said, John Lynch has said that in the past they have prioritized that front of the line for defense. And if there is, I feel like viable viable defensive ends at the 27 overall spot. They
Mhm.
could go there, and like you said, when we get into the top 30 visits and everything, I think that'll kind of show us a little more. I know there's a couple mock drafts as well,
Mhm.
having the Niners draft some of those guys out there that are defensive ends. Um, I thought it was funny too when one of the reporters asked about AI, and he was like, "Oh, it's amazing!
Yes.
Like everyone uses it. Like you can just drop in a mock draft and like, shoot, if we don't have a player there, we can figure out what we're doing." Then it's like, dude, even like the front office people are doing mock drafts like everybody else in the world. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. So I like that you brought that up because I loved that AI question.
Yeah,
Was it from
I don't know who it was from. I couldn't recognize that voice.
get his name? I
Is that
think it
like
was
Matt
Cam
Langley?
Inman.
Was it Cam Newton?
If
Oh dang,
no, I
I
think it
don't
was
even watch
Cam
it out.
Inman, if I'm not mistaken. Because I kind of went back and rewatched the presser to just make sure I hadn't missed anything, like
Yeah.
just kind of before this. But yeah, I thought that was a super interesting question with the AI
Hmm.
thing. I'm honestly kind of glad someone asked him that. And then the whole thing about like when he was talking about like draft scenarios, which obviously you have to go through,
Right.
like it kind of made me think, oh, they use these mock draft simulators
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
that,
I,
just like we
that
do.
was a good question,
And then
actually.
yeah, which I think maybe that was the question. In I don't remember if it was part of the question when they. I think what you were thinking was Matt Lively may have asked the one about like the time change because remember it's going from I believe 10 minutes to 8 minutes now
Yeah,
in the
right.
first round, so it's gonna go a little bit faster. So I think that was maybe when that kind of answer came up about the
Mhm.
whole like mock draft thing. But I mean, it seems like Niners are gonna be fine. Like they don't seem worried about the
Yeah.
2 minutes less. I mean, he did say that Jacob Cowing, like when they drafted him, literally they
Yeah,
put
the
it in
last
2
second.
seconds left.
I was gonna
Yeah,
text you when he
like
brought up Jacob Cowan. That was hilarious. Jacob
yeah.
Cowan
So
signing. But that brings me up to my last quote that John Lynch also brought up in this press conference, and I think something that is really interesting as well, and something I feel like the Niners haven't really done so much in these previous drafts, where they try to really reach for some of these draft picks. It seems like in
mm,
the previous years. But he was talking about free agency this offseason, saying that they really were able to get these guys to fill these spots where they don't have to be in a position where like, hey, we really need to fill this spot in the draft. Like we're really worried about the depth here. We're really worried about having a guy be able to play this position. Where now because they have these signings with Mike Evans, the Oso Digizua trade for defensive tackle, that they're actually able to draft best available, which I think a lot of Niner fans
mm,
their ears peaked up a little bit, perked up a bit, saying, "Hey, like, we're not going to be trying to go out for this random dude like with the 27th
mhm.
overall pick that we've never heard of before. They're probably going to go best overall pick, whether that's going to be a
Oh,
safety there or left guard,
I
like
bet you I bet you'll never hear the guy that they end up drafting, or he'll be like a second, third round
you
guy,
think
because
so?
that's the exact thing
In the
that happened
first
with the
round?
Ricky Pearsall.
Well,
Because
that's
I
true.
remember with Ricky Pearsall, it's like you did not feel like they had any needs, and it's like best player available.
Yeah.
But the
And you
Niners
thought Ricky Pearsall was
BPA
the
is
best.
so different compared to everyone else. And I think it's SF 49ers data or Niners data on
Yeah.
Twitter. He recently came out with a post showing like the consensus versus what the Niners actually do. And for
It's
example,
completely out there.
a guy like
Yeah.
Nick Martin, and I think it was like Joe Williams and stuff. My
And
God, it was
put
just
Jake
like
Moody in that mix right there.
yeah, Jake Moody, Mitch Wishnowsky. It was like crazy amount of reaches.
Right.
Um,
I just feel like
but
the
yeah,
Niners won't be
I
doing
think
that crazy of a reach
yeah,
this year. I don't know. But like you said, it's the Niners, so they probably most likely will.
exactly. They always like to surprise.
Yeah. Che 6432 in the chat. Keep it up, fellas.
Appreciate
Appreciate
you.
you, Che. We had in the Instagram chat, Gavin J. Jones. Love that Trent is staying. Niners faithful. What's up, man? This mean possibly drafting wide receiver edge at the 27th pick now. Yeah, it's kind of what we've been talking about, going back and forth, whether it's going to be an edge or a receiver. RWC underscore DM underscore 2010. What is George Kittle's situation? This
Mm,
kind of got brought up, I think, when Brock Purdy was on the
yeah.
podium today. He says, or Fred Warner too, they don't really know exactly like what his actual, what his injury is looking like right now. But what they've seen is obviously he's moving well. Kittle and Brock Purdy, I think, were working out with each other during the offseason too.
Mhm.
So obviously they were working out together and everything. He's out of his boot. He's walking around. He was at WrestleMania chugging beers, so he's in high spirits right now.
Stealing
Stealing
Halliburton's
beers.
beer.
Yeah. So we don't know a complete consensus of what George Kittle's Achilles is looking like right now, but I think what we can see from the media and everything like that is that it's progressing really well. And I think someone actually asked John Lynch about it too. Like, we've
Yeah.
heard reports that George Kittle might be back week 1. Like, that sounds crazy to say, but he's progressing really well. And that's really all
Yeah,
the news
because
I
I
have
think it
about
was
it update.
Jennifer Lee Chan who asked like, "Oh, how's these injury guys with like Bosa, Micah Williams, and George
Yeah.
Kittle?" And they're like, "Yeah, not really much of a new update from a few weeks ago because obviously there was the owners whatever meeting, and
Meetings.
let's not even talk more about the owners meeting because we all know what else went out on there that's not 49ers related.
Yeah.
If you know, you know."
Yeah. A lot of spicy stuff going on around the league right there.
Yeah.
Vrabel Rossini drama.
Also, real quick, when we were talking about like the mock drafts, it's so funny because I saw Niners like post the mock drafts of like some
Like
of
the
the
one
like
today that
big
just
names,
popped
and
out
then
right now?
yeah, and then I saw Lumu
Lomu.
or
I was
whatever,
gonna bring that up. Actually,
Lomu,
let's bring it
Caleb
up right now.
Lomu, and I was like, bro,
Yeah, here.
I
This
was
is what the
like, my
49ers literally
gosh.
just posted on their Instagram and their website right here, which I'm like, bro, do the 49ers not realize that they just signed Trent Williams to a contract? Where did it go?
And I know exactly who the people are like
Go.
gathering this to,
Yeah,
but I'm
okay.
not gonna
So
say
the
their
49ers
names, but I
just
know.
put this out right there, and they've got right now, I guess this is from Chad Reuter, but they posted on their Instagram too a photo of Caleb Lomu going for the first round pick at 27. And this is obviously after 12 hours after the 49ers have signed Trent Williams. Uh like, what are we doing here? I think if you're the Niners like media team or whatever, you gotta scratch that completely. Just it doesn't
Yeah.
seem reasonable to draft an offensive tackle at this point. Um, we got a couple other guys in here, Jeremy Bernard, BJ Payne for a
No, I
safety.
didn't realize they were doing like a whole mock draft. Some of these
Yeah,
guys.
they had a whole mock draft. It's kind of confusing in here though, because it has like this whole mock draft right here showing a couple of these guys,
Hmm.
but then it goes on like randomly Akeem Mesidor, an edge,
Oh,
which I
it
think that'd
must
be a
be
great fit.
because not all the websites did a full-on mock, so it's like they're like,
Probably, but
okay,
then they
well
just have
that
like
one
randomly, oh
did.
look, Caleb Lomu from Mike Bandon and Caleb Lomu, Eric Edom from
Yeah.
NFL.com. It's just like they put those randomly in there.
And then
So
Jordan Reed.
yeah, this one I kind of like. I
Hmm.
kind of really like this draft so far.
Which I
Malachi
know they had
Moore,
a top
James
30 guy.
Dunker.
Now there's
Yeah,
a guy I do not want from that ESPN one that's after this one.
this guy, Max Ianacor.
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, with the 27th
And
overall
you
pick.
can all guess why.
Oh,
So
Arizona. Okay. Okay, pal. But look, like every single one of these like sports
yeah.
analysts has Caleb Lomu, which
I honestly I never like paying attention to these analysts. I
yeah,
only pay attention if it's like Matt Mayoko or Matt Barrows or something
yeah,
that's
like
like
a 49ers
they
insider.
start mocking these guys because I'm like
Yeah, they
most of the
actually follow
time
the
nobody
team.
knows anything about the Niners are gonna do.
Yeah, basically. So I just thought that was funny there that the Niners still ended up posting that on their Instagram. Caleb Lomu was the front page. Like, bro, come on now. We
Yeah.
just signed Trent Williams, but I don't know if do you have any other quotes from Brock Purdy or
Uh,
Fred Warner that stood out to you or even John
Not
Lynch?
much, but the only thing from John Lynch is he was obviously asked about kind of the numbers. He didn't give a specific number because, again, I think
Of
he
like
was trying
first
to
round
really
prospect?
keep things close to chest. But he says last year, Lynch said that the 49ers had first round grades on 20 players, had 200 draftable players. This year, the overall numbers roughly the same, but the first round numbers down. Like I just mentioned, he declined to give a specific number, which I
Yeah.
think he's trying to keep it close to his chest with the amount of picks the Niners have and where they're picking. So
Mhm. I think one of the things not like newsworthy or anything that Brock
mm,
Purdy brought up, I thought it was pretty funny. They asked him about whether Mike Evans reached out to Purdy about number
Oh yeah,
13. He's like, he'd have to put a pretty big price tag on that one,
yeah.
but Mike Evans never brought it up. And I think it's confirmed now that he's going to be wearing number 5, according to NFLshop.com.
I mean, he confirmed it too on like a
Oh, on the Fred Warner
Fred
podcast, right?
Webb podcast. Yeah. Oh,
That's
real
right.
quick, another thing which I found this to be very weird and awkward. But Brock Purdy was asked about this list that Kyle Shanahan was
Mm,
talking about during the owners meeting, and then Brock's like, I haven't even gotten it. Like basically he doesn't have no idea. And I'm like, so you're telling me that Kyle doesn't give you the list like near the end of the season or like a week or two after? So you could like
yeah,
work on it,
on your own time
outside, on
before
your
the
own
off
time before like all the off-season programs. I find that so weird that
I
that's not the
guess.
case.
I could kinda see it both ways. Like, one way, it's like, oh, you wanna give them the mental rest throughout the offseason, and then once you
Yeah.
start getting back into the building, then they can give them the 5 points, and then they can all go over it, like, as coaches and players, you
Mm,
know?
yeah.
But at the same time, like, why don't you give them the 5 points, like, right when the season ends, so then you can start
Yeah.
thinking about it and start mentally preparing for that, but
Which
I
I
don't know.
get because it's like players, yeah,
See
you
both
you you
ways.
you always see, okay, these guys are gonna take a couple weeks off,
Yeah,
and
they
then
need
they'll get
to
going. So it's like I thought, okay, when they get going, like he would have that list
yeah.
before. So that I found a little weird in my opinion.
Yeah, I did kind of that kind of, perked up for me as well. He also said about Mike Evans, which was cool, that he's excited to play with him, obviously, but that he notes that he has a big size, which will be fun to
Mhm.
throw to. And he was looking at film that with Tom Brady and Baker Mayfield throwing to Mike
Yep.
Evans. And he just said, "quote You dream of those situations." So he said, like, hopefully having Mike Evans out there, he's excited to see how his career is going to excel with him
Mhm.
being on the field and the opportunities one on one down the field with a
Mhm.
big body Mike Evans receiver,
Yep,
Hall of Fame
one-on-one, red zone.
red zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also Fred Warner, I think it's pretty obvious because he was practicing towards the end of the season, but he said there was no restrictions on his ankle,
Mhm.
so he's all full go for the start of this offseason as well.
It was so
Um,
funny because when he said that, one of the reporters, like, even after he said, "I don't have any restrictions," they asked him, "So do you have any restrictions?" It's like, bro,
so
he literally
they
just
probably just
said
don't
he.
even listen. Some of the guys just probably just read off of their sheet. They don't even
Yeah.
listen to the responses beforehand. That's funny. I didn't notice that one.
Yeah.
One of the last things Fred Warner said also is about the 49ers' newest acquisition, Osa Odigizua, for you,
Mhm.
John Lynch, there. That he just noted that he was one of the last guys. He was the last guy in the gym today for the first day of off-season workouts, and you could just tell that the guy is made of the right stuff. But obviously, you got to see what he's able to
Mm.
do on the field. But that is a good sign right there. It looks
Oh,
like
yeah.
Osa is a big time hard worker.
Now that you just brought that up, for some reason my ears kind of perked because I was remembering how John Lynch kind of got asked about the injury stuff and like, oh, are they gonna kind of change things up? Which it seemed like they might change
Like
up
for
the way they
practices.
do things, yeah, a little bit. So
Mhm.
we'll see. Uh,
That'll be interesting because
hopefully,
I've heard it both ways.
yeah,
Where it's like if you
yeah,
don't have a super hard practice, which I think is what the Niners kinda do, where they, like, ramp up,
yeah,
like, 1 or 2 days in the week, and then
yeah,
they're
because
good
they're
to
trying
go
to
by
have it be
practice.
like the game because they play so physical. So
Right, but then I've also heard, like, the opposite where every single practice is super hardcore, and that's supposed to
mm,
prepare your body for the beatdown that you're gonna get on game day, but it's like, you can kinda see both sides of that as well. It's like, well, you're already gonna be beat down once you go into the game compared to maybe your body's not gonna be as prepared to take those hits if you have an easier practice. So that'll be interesting to see what they do with that, especially during training camp. We could move into now, if we want, the top 30 visits by the 49ers. Um, do we wanna go through all the top 30 visits, or are we just gonna
sure.
be going through yeah, okay. We're
I'm
going
not
through
gonna lie though, you're gonna have to probably tell me a lot
yeah.
about
I
these
mean, I
guys
just
because
wrote
I.
down I didn't write down all the ones on that list. I just wrote down, like,
Mhm,
the top 5 or 6 that potentially could be drafted in the first round, because I know a lot of these guys are projected for later on.
I mean, it's still interesting because I know the Niners love to draft these guys. Like, usually they'll go for 2 or 3 guys,
Yeah.
which again, this year could be kind of different. Which I actually want to go back to that year where they drafted like McKivitz and stuff because I remember they barely had any picks. I'd be interested to see what their top 30 visits actually looked like that year.
What year was that? Cole McKivitt's draft?
Is that
Did they visit
20?
McKivitt's?
That's what I don't know, but that's what like I wish I would have done that before this because I didn't even think about it till now. But it's like I remember
That
the
was
Niners had like 5
2020.
picks. Yeah, didn't they have like 5 picks in that draft? It was like McKivitz, Jennings, Charlie Warner,
Let's see.
Drake, and then maybe Drake and Jinx.
That draft was Javon Kinlaw,
Oh yeah, that was Kinlaw, Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk when they traded up.
Yeah,
Colton McKivitz in the 5th round. They got that pick from the Dolphins.
Charlie Warner
Uh,
and Juwan
Charlie
Jennings.
Warner, and then Juwan Jennings. Yeah.
It's like I wish I knew what those top 30 visits looked like then, because like that could be an interesting thing to look into.
Yeah. Let's see, I'll just
Let me
try to
see
pull
if
it
I
up.
can pull it up here.
Yeah, you can look at that.
We said
It
2020 draft.
was 2020. Yeah. I think 49ers Web Zone looks like they might have it from an article on Google I'm looking at. But this is from on Twitter, SF Data Niners, the 49ers top 30 visits of 2026. And I didn't go through all of these guys. I only went through the big rankings for the top 5 of these guys on here, but then I also did a little more research of a couple other mock drafts. And also I started using this NFL IQ thing. I have the NFL Plus now, and it has like NFL IQ, like an AI, and you can kind of put in prompts in there as well, like asking, oh, what do you think is a good fit for the 49ers in the 27th overall pick and whatnot. So I can bring up that kind of stuff too. But for a moment, I just brought up Caden Proctor, Omar Cooper, Caleb Lomu, Casey Concepcion, and Denzel Boston. And we can also get into Malachi Lawrence a little bit too. But according to the big board rankings, those top 5 right there are projected to go in the first round, actually. And it looks like the most realistic ones would be either Lomu, Concepcion, or Boston because of where their rankings are at towards the lower end of the first round. But I feel like now, especially that Trent Williams has been signed, for the most part, you can cross off the list Caden Proctor and Caleb Lomu. I know we saw all those mock drafts and everything, but we do have the 2020 top 30 visits. Should we go into that before we get into
Yeah,
all
so
this?
let's look into that and then we can kind of see, okay, who.
Okay. Pull it up. Can you guys see that? All right. So 49ers, please check back.
Which I don't know why they had more picks during that time because they only had 5.
7.
It's
49ers
still
pre-draft
just-
interview. So one of those guys on there, obviously, see Brandon Ayuk, first round
Yeah.
draft pick. They traded up to get him.
Mhm.
And Yeturgros Matos.
Yeah, I mean,
George
there's guys that they've had interest in,
they've
like
had on their team.
that they end up getting like later on,
Yeah,
even in
CeeDee
free agency.
Lamb. So it looks like the only one. Oh wow, they had a. Oh, okay. So Brandon Ayuk and Charlie Warner.
Well, let's go down because I guess the top
Is there more?
30 visits.
The 49ers have visited schedules with the following players. Is it just those 3 or is there more? Senior Bowl, East West, other
I guess
meetings.
that's it. But yeah, it seems like I don't see anyone even just through there
Yeah.
that they drafted. Like,
Jawan NFL scouting combine. So they talked to Jawan Jennings then?
yep.
Jennings after being drafted.
Well, yeah, okay. They
Exactly.
had literally like 2 guys because I don't see like McKivitz or anyone.
No, I don't see McKivitz. So was it just Brandon Ayuk
Okay,
then?
I see Charlie Warner.
Charlie Warner. Charlie Warner's at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw another one too. It's like a couple of them was like Nick Bosa, or no, it was top 30 or their top 3 draft picks in current seasons that they didn't end up actually talking to. One of them was like Nick Bosa. One of them was I forgot who it was, but I saw a post.
I mean,
on
I
that as
know
well.
with Pearsall, they only had like a combine visit or something. Like they didn't even have a top 30 visit with them.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
Shares
it's kind of
10%.
interesting.
So if we just look at this list here,
Mm.
though, I think the 49ers, if we want to say like their biggest needs in this draft right now, you'd say maybe wide receiver, edge, and then defensive line and safety. So I think those are the kind of the guys you'd want to look at the most. These are guys that they've had meetings with this season. But if we look at the top five, I think the ones that can interest us the most is Omar Cooper, Casey Concepcion, and Denzel Boston, which are all three receivers.
Yeah. And
And
then
then obviously
Malachi Lawrence would be an interesting
Malachi
one.
Lawrence. And I have seen him mocked in the first round for the 49ers as well.
Yeah, which this could be a potential spot where, yeah, they do trade down and then they could take him with the, is it 34th or 35th, I think? Pick that the
Yeah.
Cardinals have.
So some of the stuff I have on these top 30 visit guys, especially Casey Concepcion, I feel like he's been the biggest receiver that the 49ers have been
Mm,
mocked to draft. 5'11". So out of the receivers that I mentioned, he's actually going to be the shortest. He's 169, 196 pounds, excuse me. But he had 9 touchdowns last season, 919 yards. Some of the pros brought to you by NFL.com is that he had great acceleration over the first 15 yards of a route. He had elite short area footwork and separation quickness. This is the biggest positive about Casey is that he runs every route well over the first 2 levels. So he's got a good route tree there, and then he also has great separation burst. And some of the knocks on him was that he has average to top end speed, higher drop total, working into the middle of the
mm,
defense slash the field, which kind of is a big red flag there. Kind of reminds me of
yeah.
like a Deebo Samuel. And then this is one of the biggest red flags as well, is that he doesn't add much to the run blocking game, um,
Mm,
from the slot position at least. So right there,
yeah.
I think if you're looking at the 49ers and you know what Kyle Shanahan likes, the biggest thing is a run blocker in his receivers. And if he's not going to be doing that,
Yeah.
then I don't really see Casey Concepcion being that kind of guy for the Niners to draft,
Yeah.
especially in the first round.
I think out of this list, like in terms of wide receiver, kind of in the early, like first maybe 2, 3 rounds,
Hmm.
is okay. Like I'd say Omar Cooper Jr.'s probably like my favorite because he does have that yak ability. I think he is
Hmm.
closer to like a Debo, but a better like route runner in my opinion. And then Denzel Boston, I do like him, even though he does struggle to create a little bit of some separation at the line of scrimmage. But reminds me of a closer to like a Mike Evans. Obviously, you got to see it on the field before you say it,
Yeah.
but I think like the body frame and like the physicality is very similar in my opinion. So
Mhm.
like this could be perfect where he learns from a Mike Evans. And then I don't really like Casey Concepcion, to be honestly. I know
Yeah.
he has like
He's
a
not.
lot of drop issues, but it's kind of interesting because the Niners said that they need to get faster. I feel like they didn't really do that in free agency, so kind of
Mhm.
interested to know where they'll like add speed. Chris Razzle the second to me is like a bigger Jawan kind of Jennings, I guess.
Yeah, I have seen
Um,
that player comparison there.
so
And I
I don't
know,
know how
also
much I like.
for Denzel Boston too, his player comp was, Puka Nacua, which I thought was crazy. I
Mm,
guess because 'cause they're from the same school, right? But he's the out of those guys, he's the biggest receiver out of all of them. 6'3", 212 pounds. And he had 11 touchdowns last season too. But one of the biggest knocks on him was that when they were facing tougher competition, that his production actually dipped a bit, which is kind of interesting. But he's got that fast ability on him. He's got that quick
mm,
acceleration, big bodied, like we said, but he's also got elite ball tracking skills. So he's got the great hands that I think the Niners would be looking for. And I think he'd probably be great also in the run game, considering
mm,
how big he is too. And Omar Cooper, like you said too, Debo player comparison he's big on like the yak yardage, able
mhm,
to break off a couple tackles there. But out of those ones, I think maybe Denzel Boston kind of stand out to me. But for the Niners, I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up drafting a receiver in the second round, not in the first round.
mm,
Um, and then just the other 2 guys right there, Caden Proctor, 6'6", 352 pounds. I don't see him dropping down to 27 overall, but also I don't
mm.
see the Niners drafting an offensive tackle in the first round now.
we'll see. But yeah, I think that I'd be pretty surprised with that. Caleb Lomus, for most people, what I've been hearing is like they think he's a day two guy,
Mhm.
not really a day one guy. Um, I'm not gonna lie. Malachi Lawrence, I think I would love that.
Yeah.
Good pass rusher
No,
too.
the SF Niners really likes him. I think he was mocking
Yeah.
him to go in the 27th overall to the Niners.
Mhm.
He had 7
And
sacks last
yeah.
season,
And
so he
then
had a lot of
Romello
production.
Height too. Not bad.
Mhm.
More of a later round guy. And then I'm not gonna lie. Basically, after that, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know half the
I
names
don't
towards the
know.
bottom of the
Yeah.
list. I also did, like I mentioned before, I'll pull this up right now, but I asked, the NFL IQ thing about let's see if I have it on my screen here. I don't have it on mine, but I'll just bring it up. I asked them, like, what could be or asked AI if the 49ers were to draft an edge rusher in the draft, who most likely would be there for the 27th overall pick. And it brought up the edge rusher from Texas A&M, Cassius Howell. He had
Mm,
11 and a half sacks last season, most in his college career. Bucky Brooks mocked him to go to the Niners back in March. He ran a 4.59 40, 6'2", 253 pounds. So he's on the slimmer side. Got 30-inch arms, but he's very bendy around the corner. He's got that good burst and elusiveness, kind of like how we saw Bryce Huff last season, where he's got that speed off the edge. But the bad thing about him was that he was knocked around a lot in the run defense, which I don't
mm.
think could be uh, the worst thing about him, just because you've got a lot of good defensive linemen who are good in the run, you know. So I don't think it would necessarily be a big enough knock for him. But that was just one guy that the NFL IQ brought up.
Okay.
But I think Malachi Lawrence for me would be probably the best, out of those few guys there.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we'll see because I really think the Niners are. I kind of hope that they're hiding a lot of these guys just because it's like okay, you don't have a third round pick either, so it's like
Yeah, you wanna hide your chess pieces a
you,
bit.
you only have like fourth round picks after first and
Mhm.
second round. So I think they're just really trying to hide. Hopefully, a lot of these players that they're actually interested in. Um,
Yeah.
but again, I think the Niners probably draft like at least I'd mark one guy, maybe two, but again, it's tough just because they have six picks. So
Mhm.
we kind of have to see what else, if they trade down and what else they kind of end up picking up here.
Yeah. I also looked up for ESPN just a couple, like, the first round talent that could be available and positions the Niners could be looking at, and I don't know if you've seen for safety, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren out of Toledo.
Yeah.
Potentially could drop down. I think he was like mocked towards the end of the first round, but
Mhm.
he's a big man. He's standing at 6'4", 201 pounds. Natural box safety, quick downhill. And hearing that at first, it kind of reminds me of Jair Brown, where he's
Mm.
better at going downhill. But they said that he was pretty good in coverage, but that's one of the biggest things in his play that does need to get developed. But he had 8 forced fumbles in his entire career with 5 interceptions, so he's a ball
Yeah.
hawk. That
I
could
mean,
be
they said that about
guy.
Jair Brown because I remember Jair Brown had like 10
Yeah,
interceptions. So
that's true. So, maybe we're looking at another Jair Brown situation that we wanna stay away from. Uh, the other 2 guys that I saw too, and it's the guy that you don't like, which, yeah, I kind of agree with too, the Auburn edge, Keldrick Faulk, because he's better in the run game more than a natural
yeah,
pass
I
rusher.
just I feel like he's so similar to like a Michael Williams that I'm like,
Yeah,
if
I
he was
think they're
maybe
both
like a
very
later
good.
round guy, I'd be fine with it. But like in the
Yeah, first
first
round.
round,
Yeah, that's what this was kinda saying too, is a lot better in the run game. He's 6'6", 276 pounds, so it's similar to that Michael Williams build. And then the last one, I think this would be my dream edge rusher if he
mhm,
were to drop to us, besides Ruben Bain, but it would be his former teammate from Miami, Akeem Mesidor,
yeah.
6'3", 259
Which
pounds.
I
That dude
think
was
the
crazy.
Niners actually had a good visit with him. So
Yeah, and I
maybe
saw that was also on the 49ers, Instagram post after Caleb Lomu. I think
mm,
Mesidor was right there after him. But this ESPN, first rounder thing said that he has crazy violent hands. He has multiple pass rush moves, so he's not a one-trick pony. And then he's also outstanding against the run. So you're getting the best of both worlds right there. He doesn't really have a weakness, it seems like, in his edge rushing game, where he's able to block the run and set the edge if you need him to. So if Mesidor somehow were to drop down, I don't see the Niners moving up in the draft. I feel like they don't have the capital to do that. But if he somehow ended
Yeah.
up dropping him, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I don't see them trading up in the first round. Now, if they trade down, they get multiple picks, and it's like, okay, now we could maybe trade up for one of the guys. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think if we're ready to move on, maybe do we want to do a quick mock?
Yeah, we can do a quick mock. Do you have a website? What's the website you like to use the most?
Actually, like PFF, or I think it's like Pro Football Network, which I know PFF you have to pay for, so probably Pro Football
Yeah, I don't
Network.
have the paid one
Yeah,
for PFF.
no, good.
All right. Select this team. Pull it up. Okay. San Francisco. Select. Should we do
We'll
full
put it
seven
to
or should we just
7,
go?
yeah. We could
Yeah.
just put it to 7, I mean, and I guess we could do it faster because I don't think we're gonna do trades anyways, so
Yeah. All right. Maui Goa. That's another name. No, we're good. 20. Oh, wait. Hang on here. Move back one.
well, let's see what else there's offered, I guess. I mean, I just wanna see what the offer. Oh, that's a little I don't know if I wanna drop down that much, but I mean, you do get a
Yeah.
second.
But for next season, though.
I mean, yeah, I'd
Oh,
still
wait.
take
You get a second right here, though, too. Yeah.
yeah.
This one they're
Damn.
offering you 4 picks for pick 27. Dang.
Okay, yeah, I think let's just not do
Yes.
trades. Make it so
Okay,
we
so who's
don't
gone
have
before? Caden McDonald,
how
Concepcion
do
at
we
23.
wanna do this? Do we wanna, like, go back
Do you
and
wanna
forth or like, do we
um,
wanna do, like, our own mock because it's only 6 picks?
we could let's try to just go back and forth, I think.
Okay.
But we could kind of like obviously what the team needs. Like what would we think the Niners would draft with the 27th pick, you
Okay,
know?
so let's take a look
I
at
don't think
edge.
I don't think offensive tackles, yeah. So
Yeah, let's look at edge. So I
Zion
do like
Young
a
is
guy
still
like
there.
Zion Young,
Right.
Malachi Lawrence. I don't know much
TJ
about TJ
Parker, third.
Parker, but
I know he was
Cassius
projected to
Howell.
be. So a lot of the guys that we brought up before are already still here. Just kind of
Hmm,
interesting. Malachi Lawrence,
okay.
Howell, Young. Mm,
Let's look at his testing. 6
6'4". What did he do a 40? It's like
ninth.
94th percentile. 4.52. That's pretty fast for an edge.
Yeah, that's great. 1.5.
Dimension.
Damn, he didn't do bench press though.
Yeah. Edge leader. So he was up there number 2 for
Hmm,
relative athletic score. So he's a pretty athletic guy.
it's interesting. They let us look at a lot of stuff, and it's cool because I never
Yeah.
really clicked on it. So yeah, Niners have
2 guys
never.
have projected him to go to the Niners.
Okay, so I think we have some edges we could consider. Let's look at wide receiver, maybe, just to kind of see who else is. Denzel Boston,
Boston, like we said. Brazel, Jeremy
Chris
Bernard,
Bell. So it seems
Spell.
like if we go wide receiver, we're basically going Denzel Boston here. But then if we go like
We
an
have
edge,
multiple
then
options
we
at
have
edge.
multiple options.
Right. So it's whether we like what's his name most out of all these guys, whether we like Denzel
Then
Boston over these edge players that we got right here.
go to wide receivers again. I just kind of want to see who could be available if we didn't. I'm not a big Sky Bell guy. Do not. Don't
Lanes.
even think about it.
I'm just gonna press that one for fun.
What are you thinking? Should we go wide receiver? Should we go edge?
I think I'm gonna stick to what I've originally said. I think I'll pick the first one here. I think I'm gonna
Okay.
go edge. Um,
All
but it
right.
is intriguing seeing every time I'm seeing Denzel Boston there because I kind of like what he kind of presents. Um, but I think out of like all the mock drafts and everything I've seen, even though he's projected right here to go 51, I think I would go Malachi Lawrence
Yeah, I mean,
because
in this
that's tough for
situation,
Brad.
hopefully you trade down. Like if we scroll down in the order,
Yeah,
maybe a little bit. So yeah, like where do the Cardinals pick?
in the second round. Do they even have a second round
Is this
pick?
thing not updated? Because I swear they have a second round pick. Unless they made a trade with someone in the mock.
Oh, that's probably what it was. There were 3 right there, so they got David Bailey.
No, I don't
Hmm.
think this is updated correctly. Man.
Oh, that's weird. Oh, yeah, because it would've said if
Oh
there
no,
was
they did. They did.
does it say?
25.
Oh, so they traded up.
Yeah.
Interesting.
These freaking guys, bro.
Well, I'll go ahead. I'll click
Okay.
Malachi Lawrence here.
All right. Yeah, I think realistically we trade down and then
Yeah, in
pick
that
them up.
situation.
All right. Reject
And
all offers.
yeah. Okay, so now
All
where are you
right.
looking at here for the
Well,
second
let me
round?
look at wide receiver. Antonio Williams. I don't mind Antonio Williams. That's probably like the main guy.
Yeah.
I was
Jacoby
hoping that other
Lane.
Georgia guy maybe would go be there, but he's not. There's only Zachariah Branch. Who are the guards?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Oh,
Okay, nobody. Are there any tackles that I don't know? Like sometimes.
yeah, like a swing
Hmm,
tackle or something, or a guy that could play at
yeah.
guard. Haven't really heard of too much about these guys.
Okay, let
Wanna
me.
try safety?
Yeah, let's look at safety. Let's see.
Ramsey. Bud
Jalen
Clark.
Kilgore.
I've heard a lot about him.
Clark. Michael Tuffy, but that's obviously a later guy.
It's a later guy, yeah.
Okay, let's go back to receivers. And I'm just gonna go. Let's go with Antonio Williams.
All right. Now we don't have a third rounder. Niners traded it away.
Yep.
Then we head
No,
into
we do have a third rounder. It's just Osa.
oh, it's just Osa. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's 127th pick. I think that the Niners start looking more towards safety.
Do we have to get Kyle as a running back, bro?
Oh, Kyle's running back. That's true. Actually, let's look at
Or
running
would
back.
he be happy with the guy that went to Texas? Because he also.
Right? Oh, is that Taffy still there?
Yeah. No, we probably could get him at the next pick.
We'll probably get it with the next fourth rounder. Yeah.
Because we have what, 4 fourth rounders?
Yeah. Maybe offensive guard.
Jalen Farmer.
What about one of the
Damn.
Polynesians? These are always good.
That's true.
311 pounds, 6'5". He's an offensive tackle, but let's see.
But yeah,
Has
he's
he
like
played
projected to.
power chip, testing? Let's look at his testing. 311,
6'5".
33 is decently sized arms, I guess. Didn't do a
Yeah.
40-yard. Do we know anything about his
Oh, he did run a 40, but it wasn't like at the combine, I think.
his pro day? Ran a 5.23.
Okay.
Arm length bench press did 25 reps. Okay, he's pretty strong. He's projected to go 136, 232. So he's projected to go kind of later on also. It's Jalen Farmer. Let's look at this guy.
Mm.
34-inch arms.
Those hand sizes are tiny, man.
mini hands, but he's got the long arms though. It's all right. Ran a
But I mean, even
4.93
if you have long arms, but like actually having to
grapple, I guess, with
go against
defenders.
over an edge rusher
Right.
or like somewhere like a DT or
37
something.
reps on bench press though.
Sheesh. Yeah, I guess the
Okay.
only thing is I'd be concerned about his arms or his
Yeah,
hands. I mean,
hands. Let's go running back. Let's see. Kalen Black's still there.
that's a good one. I like Nicholas Singleton too.
Yeah.
Maybe later on.
I think maybe we'll get Kyle Shannon his running back. Cause Kalen Black
Okay.
is projected to go 120, and we're here at 127.
All right.
Indiana, he looked good in the
Reject all offers.
Natty. So
Okay, so we went
133
running back, we went edge, and we went wide receiver. Let's look at tight end.
tight ends.
I
Sam
know
Rush.
anything.
I know the Niners met with him.
It's 167th, like projected though, so we're still a little.
Yeah, we
early.
might still be able to get him later on too.
Mm,
Daquan Wright.
Let's go guards. No, we didn't. Money. Damn. Let's go safety actually. Looking.
Taff is still
What's
there.
our next pick after this? 138.
130. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let me just look at best available, I
I
guess.
was gonna say, do we go best available right here? We got offensive tackle, OC, offensive, what, center?
Let's look at corners actually. Like, I know there's. That's my thing. Is I don't know any of these guys.
Yeah, once they go down, once we're going to like the fourth round, I'm like, these guys are just for the extreme ball knowers of college football. Want to go back to all?
Yeah, sure. Let's get a quarterback, guys. Garrett Nussmeier, bro. Come on. Which I know he's doing. Malachi
another
Fields would
receiver.
be interesting.
Yeah,
You know what? Let's go with him.
be a fourth
Screw
round
it.
gem right there.
Let's get another
All right.
receiver. All
Oh,
right.
that's right. We have back to back.
So this is our last ones.
Yeah. All right. So what do we got? We got a edge, a receiver, running back. So we got two receivers now.
Yeah.
I think we got to go the last. We got to go. I think offensive line and safety for the last two.
Okay.
So let's.
But it doesn't matter what order since it's back.
Doesn't really matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter at all what order. I think this is a center, right? Offensive center. Is that what OC means?
Yep.
Yeah. It's just weird seeing it like that. Like what?
What's his name?
Matt Golbin.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you if he's gold.
31-inch arms. 21 reps on bench.
Golden. Let me find him. Okay, I'm gonna look because I have PFFs. I'm gonna see if he's like only played center or if he's played any guard.
Yeah, I think that's what the Niners really need. Someone that can play guard, but if he's able to move around a bit. Here's a guard right here, Logan Taylor from Boston College.
Usually it says that they've. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. Well, he's a really good run blocker, but unfortunately, all 727 of his snaps would have been at center. What center wouldn't be terrible because like Brendel's has a 1-year deal,
right? But we also signed Brett Toth as a backup, though. You wouldn't get a lot of playing
more
time.
backup guard center, yeah.
Yeah, I think I might go this Logan Taylor guy, offensive guard. He's 6'7", 314 pounds, big man.
Let me see how much. What's Logan Taylor?
Logan Taylor from Boston College. I think this guy might be good. This is testing and comps. 6'7", 10.5-inch.
Oh no, we can't get a guy that's 6'7", bro. Like, no, it's off the
33
books.
and 7 1/8 inch arm length, 31-inch vertical jump. So he's very
Okay, he's like 70 graded-ish, like in overall 73.7 run blocking grade, 71.2 pass blocking. Let me see what his previous years are. If it will load, but anyways, let me see. He's played right guard, some right tackle, and left tackle.
not
So
left
that
guard.
actually wouldn't be terrible.
Yeah, I think I'll pull the trigger on
Okay.
him. Logan
Like,
Taylor.
all right,
Now,
let me.
139. Was it safety time or best
Yeah,
available?
let's look at safety.
I gotta look at safety here.
Okay,
Michael
let's
Taft's still
go.
there.
Yeah, let's go with them.
Go Taft. I think he had a visit with the Niners too, I think,
I think so.
earlier on in the
All
offseason.
right, now it should just go zooming through this since we don't have any. This is like really the only. I think I've only done like my second mock here.
Really. Overall
Yeah.
draft grade C+.
Oh,
We
jeez.
got a C minus for the Malachi Lawrence pick.
Well, yeah. I mean, realistically, if we traded down, we'd
If
be
we traded
getting.
down, it'd be better, right? But we weren't
Yeah.
doing trades in this one. You got an A minus on your Antonio Williams one, which is great. Then we got a C minus Kalen
Then it
Black.
didn't like any.
Yeah. C Malachi Fields, Logan Taylor B minus, Michael Taft C minus. Overall C plus. I feel like that's how the Niners usually draft anyway. They get around a C plus
Fair
rating.
enough. Yeah, that's true.
That's funny.
But all right, if there's not, I guess anything else, right?
Yeah, I feel like there's not a lot of news in the 49er world right now outside of the stuff we hit already.
Yep.
We got the Trent Williams news down. That's the biggest thing this offseason. Outside of the big Oso Digizua trade, the Mike Evans signing, Trent Williams was their biggest need for the Niners this offseason. And now everything is just falling into place because now you just got the draft. And after the draft, the Niners still just got their OTAs coming up soon and everything. So I think it's going to be a pretty chill rest of the week for Niner fans until Thursday for when the draft happens. We got Dank D in the chat also. I think this was earlier on. Sorry we didn't get to you. Wide receiver and defensive end makes sense because those are positions making over 40 million a year. Yeah, I think those are positions especially DN that the Niners need to focus on the most. But if you guys grade our mock draft C minus, I think we did okay with what we were with the hand we were dealt with.
Yeah,
You
it's
got
tough
anything
'cause you
else?
only have 6 picks, so
It's also tough. I think, yeah, I definitely think the Niners are gonna trade back a couple picks and get a couple more draft picks to have more than 6 in the draft, maybe
yeah,
even
I wouldn't be
8
surprised if they
picks,
maybe end with like 9, maybe
8
10.
or 9, maybe 10. I could see that happening. Give away a couple of those 4th rounders, maybe get a 5th round pick, a 6th round pick. I don't know.
Yeah. Get some day 3, get into the 3rd round, get Kyle Shanahan his 3rd round running back, obviously.
Gotta get the 3rd round running back. And Thursday, 49er Media, do you wanna bring up about the
Yes.
draft live?
Yeah, so we will be doing a draft live on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I know Cole said he'll be joining at least Thursday one.
I'll
We'll
be
be
doing
going live
Thursday.
around 15, 20 minutes before the draft, so around 4:45 Pacific Standard Time. Just going over the picks, seeing what the Niners do. Maybe they don't even pick on um,
On Thursday.
Thursday, but I think it'd still be fun to, at least just see what everybody else does, and we'll still see the trade. But yeah, very excited to do that. One of my favorite times of the year to, do this on the channel, just talking ball, and we have different conversations. We'll go over the players that we draft kind of right after we draft, and then kind of give us our thoughts, reactions, maybe show play some highlights, or at least look at some film a
Mhm.
little bit, just give you guys
It'll
your
be with Captain
thoughts.
Niner, right?
Yeah, with Captain Niner, and then obviously, like I said, Cole will be joining at least Thursday. So
Yeah, so I hope they
Yeah,
pick on
excited.
Thursday 'cause that's the only day I could go live. The other 2 days I'm working, so it kinda bums me out, but
Yeah,
that would suck. They traded out of the first round and there for nothing, but no, it'll still be a good time though.
yeah.
All right, then. I think we'll end it there, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this late night Niners show. First time ever. We'll be doing these more often. Draft, like we said, is Thursday starting at 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll be going on 15 minutes, 20 minutes beforehand. So make sure you guys head over there. Make sure you follow 49er Media on YouTube, Instagram, all of his socials there. First and 49ers for me on YouTube, Instagram, all my socials, guys. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. And we'll keep you guys updated for this next couple of days.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Have a good one. Peace.
Touchdown!